I think I'm live now. Mm, mm. Uh, yeah, okay, I'm live. Hello everybody. How you guys doing? I believe I should be on, yeah, everything. Alright, so this stream is going to be for multiple purposes. One, I do want to show off Playmasters right now. I've gotten a little bit of progress done, and also this is sort of a test stream to see how my computer can handle things. Right now, I'm streaming in 1080p, 60 FPS, and I want to see how that does on a regular casual stream. I'm not running anything too demanding other than Playmasters, and surprisingly, Playmasters is pretty demanding. But yeah. Um, I guess since we don't really have that. Oh man, that many people in here. Uh. Oh man. Oh, there we go. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Let's share that there. Copy this. Share it to the Discord. Uh, Let me change the display over to this so that way you guys can only see this so that way I can get on the Discord. Um, there we go. All right, everybody. All right, I've shared the stream where I usually do. So let me get into it with showing you guys the changes that I have made thus far. Hello, me. Apparently, because I'm the only one who's in the chat. But right now I'm about to show you guys the updates that I've made to Playmaster since the last time I've done a stream. Because I've done a lot of things, well not a lot of things, but I've made a very big change. So, oh, stream health's going down. I wish I had people in here to tell me how the stream is. You guys might hear a little reverb, I gotta check. You guys might hear a little reverb, I gotta check. Alright, I think it's good. I think it's good. Just tell me if there's anything wrong, and I'll, go restart the stream in back in 720 FPS or 720 back in 720. But let me go over the things that I've made changes to. So the biggest thing that I've made a change to is I changed the battle system. Um, the reason why I changed the battle system is because I thought I was sitting here and I was thinking, I've been stuck for months because the battle system, like the side view HCB battle system, um, whenever you sat on the screen for an extended period of time, or whenever you was in those battles for an extended period of time, the game would start lagging. And when I say it started lagging, I mean it started lagging so much to where it was unplayable. And I've been spending the last 3 months or so trying to figure out like what to do to be able to fix it. And I haven't been able to find a way to fix it. And I was like, well, there has to be something I could do. Then at the same time, I was also thinking there's two different battle systems. Like, even though the first one, the on-map battle system, was like more of a supplement, there's still like, not much. There's still like, it's still two different battle systems. So I was like, wait a second. What if I make Playmasters like it was before in my old build where you fought on the map and all the battles happened on the map, but I made separate battle screens for battles so that way it can make battle maps. And that's what you guys are looking right now. This is, hi Lady Vamp. This is basically the new battle system right here. So essentially, whereas before so let me give you guys a breakdown of what happens whenever you go into battle. So let's say there's this slime right here, and you're running around. Let's say you touch the slime, you go into battle, and then it will take you to one of these three random maps right here, one of these three maps. And it will spawn in only a certain amount of these enemies, a random amount of these enemies. And then you're able to fight in this area. Let me give you guys a example. of the actual battle screen. I can't actually, it's not like fully implemented. We'll finish it up on stream so that we can show you guys the full thing. But here's just a little snippet of it. So let me start the game up. There we go. Oh, I gotta fix that stuff to start off surprise. But when you go into battle, it'll take you onto this screen. It'll say battle start, and then you're able to fight. Now, of course, there's no enemies here, but when you start the battle normally, you know, interacting with an enemy, a certain amount of enemies will appear. You're able to fight them. If you see that you're not gonna win the battle, things aren't going your way, you can flee the battle by running against one of the edges. You're able to flee the battle. Now, you can't flee to an area because of how I started it, but just wanted to show you guys this. Here's another thing that I could show you guys right here. That's a benefit to how I'm doing this battle system. You're able to use the terrain to your advantage. Now, this is the one that was really getting me today while I was programming it. So let me show you guys this right quick. All right. So, as I said, you're able to use the terrain to your advantage. Oh, wait. That glitched because I have to turn off the victory condition. So let me turn that off. There we go. Turn off the victory condition. Now I can show you guys what I'm talking about. There we go. All right. So essentially, there would like be enemies all around here. Like sometimes you may come into this area, or you might get spawned into this battle area, and there'll be like enemies at the top of these like little pillars right here. So then at that point, you would have the option to like say use Eris to be able to shoot them down with their bow, use Lucy to be able to shoot her down with her gun, or use magic to be able to get them. Or if you want to hit them with melee attacks, just use Xanark to run up to the top and be able to attack them. Ooh, bring that out. Yo, what happened? Oh, I need to click on the thing. There we go. But that's one thing you can do. Another thing that you can do is you can use other forms of terrain damage. So, like, as you can see, when you walk, that's because if you use any sort of fire spell on this bridge, like if you use a fire gem, it will ignite the bridge. So that means constant fire damage is going on that bridge, and it will burn whoever walks on the bridge. And that applies to both the player and enemies. So basically, essentially, if you see that, oh wait, you got slimes or anything else on the screen that's weak against fire, you can ignite the bridge on fire and then run away and then shoot them from the other side to entice them to walk over the bridge, and they'll get hit with fire damage and they'll be burned. So, once again, something else that you can use to your advantage, and that opens up a lot of possibilities for, like, other areas to where, like, maybe there might be an area to where you can, there might be a puddle, and then using a lightning spell will be able to, send electric shocks through it, so that way if there's any enemy in the water, when you send an electric shock on it, they will get electric damage and they'll be shocked. There's also, like, different, another thing that I added recently is, different status ailments that do different things. I can't really show you guys right now because it's kind of, bothers to do it. Actually, I'm wondering. Oh, you gotta move for status ailments to go away. Forgot about that. But, different status ailments will go away with different things. So, like, for instance, whenever you get inflicted with frost, it will make it to where you can't dash anymore. It makes you slow, so you can't dash anymore. At the same time, it also doubles the amount of damage that fire spells will do to you, but fire will cure it. And that's one thing that I've thought a lot about with the elemental status elements. So, like, if you get inflicted with burn, like I was there, when I'm inflicted with burn, as you move, you will take HP damage. And at the same time, what was the other thing? You'll take more damage from ice attacks, I believe. Yeah, you take more damage from the opposite element, and then you can be cured from it from another element. So while you're taking more damage from ice spells while you're burned, you will be cured from burn by getting hit with a water spell. And that goes with like all the other like elementals. Like if you get hit with like shock, you'll take more damage from like I think it is earth attacks. It was either earth or wind. I can't remember which one it is. And you'll deal more. You'll get hurt more by either wind or earth. I can't remember which one it is. No, it's water. You'll get hurt more with water attacks, but you'll be healed with like earth attacks, I believe, because earth would ground you. I can't remember exactly how I thought of it earlier. I had to check my design notes. But that's but now I guess for right now, if you got, well, I'll just stream me doing it. But I'm going to be finishing up the setup for this area. This area is pretty much 90% complete. All I need to do is just finish up the setup for these wasps. Which, basically, the thing that I have for these wasps, in terms of, like, attack pattern, is touch damage gets turned to true. They turn to player, it dashes forward, turns to player, dashes forward, turns to player, dashes forward. So, essentially, it will turn to player, zoom, zoom, zoom. Like, you know, it's chasing you down. Then after that, it will start, like, moving toward, then after that, it will start moving at random. Then it's going to jump to the player, and then it's going to use this, then it's going to wait, and then it's going to use this, Act 101, which is a poison attack, which will poison the player if they get hit by it. So essentially, when it jumps to you, as long as you move out the way, you're not going to get hit by the poison spell. And I believe that I have this on this one as well. I might already... Oh, wait, no, I already did the bee. I need to do the plants. Oh, wait, did I stop here? Oh, man, okay. I'm going to have to use a placeholder for now. I'm going to use a placeholder graphic. I already made a graphic for, so basically, what I'm talking about right now is one of the attacks for the plants is they're supposed to shoot out a seed at you to attack you. And essentially, I've made a graphic for it, but it's not finished yet, and I don't really want to edit a graphic on stream right now. So I'm just going to make a placeholder graphic, or just use the placeholder. So what we're going to do is we're going to come over to Tool Map. This is where all the magic happens. All the magic for all the attacks and everything like that happens over here. In fact, let me give you guys a tutorial or a little taste of battle right quick. Give you guys a little taste of battle. Because I got, and just bring over some ready-made enemies. Bring over a bat. There we go. And let's turn the bat on. And I guess I'll bring over, oh, what did I do? Okay, nothing. Alright, and I guess I'll bring over a slime as well. So let me grab, well, maybe not a slime, I'll bring over a wolf. Yeah, I'll bring over a wolf. There we go. We'll add a couple of wolves in there. Well, actually, I need to turn the wolf on first, and then, there we go. Alright, I'll give you guys a little taste of the battle system right now. Is everything in place? I believe so. We're just going to try it out, so I can show you guys what the battle system is like now. I guess it's always a good thing to play test. I did not know that the wolves made sounds so often, so I'm going to turn that off, and I'm going to just fix that later. I did not know that the wolves made, you know, sounds that often. Alright, let me see how this works out, actually. Alright, the wolves move very erratically when they see you. Interesting. Alright. So essentially you can, like, you know, as you can see, fight the enemies. Each enemy has, like, its own thing. So, like, the magic thing is obviously, like, shooting magic at you. The wolves are, like, chasing you down, trying to hit you. The bat will make dashes at you every so often. And you can, you know, fight them at your own leisure, however you want to. I'm gonna be fighting them with Xanark, but you have all your items. So like, say I want to increase my attack and defense. Use this, boom, I'm stronger now. So, you know, you got your items. What other items do I have? I'm thinking about turning off knockback though, so then that way enemies won't have knockback. Either that, or I'm just gonna make enemies slower, because these enemies are moving way too fast, especially the wolves. I think I'm gonna definitely like at least slow them down. Most notably the wolves. But another thing that I've added newly is a dodge dash. This will allow you to dash and completely avoid all damage. But I got an error. Interesting. I love how I get errors whenever I tested that for an hour and it never gave me that error. I love how when I stream I always find errors that just don't pop up normally. Maybe next stream when I get everything finalized, I'll actually show you guys a better version of it, because I'm definitely going to be using this battle system. I just have to finalize it, iron out all the bugs. I just started working on it today, honestly. But I think it's going to be going really well. So I guess I'll show you guys me making the one skill, and then I'll probably end this, because I only wanted it to be like a short stream, like a really short stream, just to show you guys the new idea that I worked on. So essentially what we're going to be doing is we're going to be making an event from an existing one. So we're going to take this arrow item. We're going to put it right here. We are going to change the graphic to a placeholder graphic. Let's just change it to... Let's just change it to this. Change it to this. Alright. And essentially we're going to get rid of this because we don't need it. What skill am I making? An enemy shooting a thing. So as long as I get rid of that, skill will change that later in a little bit. Tool duration, good, 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 not good. Alright, we're gonna change this to a monster sound actually. So we're gonna scroll down. Nope. 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 I need to get more sound effects. We'll use this, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna change the and lower the volume. There we go. Alright, there we go. Alright, disable piercing. Yep, and custom thing is it moves forward. We'll allow it to move forward one more time. What is this? Oh, that's it hitting the ground. We don't need that. Alright, so last thing we need to do is we need to make a actual event for its run on. So what we're going to do is we're going to essentially copy this attack. We're going to go down here and we're going to make it a new thing right here. And we're going to rename it Plant Attack. And basically this right here is essentially like where all the damage gets done. So this damage right here, this formula right here is basically how much damage will happen if I happen to make contact with this attack. I already know this is a good formula, so I'm not going to change the formula. But essentially, like I said, all of this right here, all of this is getting deleted because it was for the old battle system that I used. We're going to instead bring over this right here. This tool ID basically links it back to this right here, which these are what. So basically, let me explain it like this. Whenever the player or an enemy uses a skill, it calls one of these. Why am I pointing at my screen? One of these. And then these skills will call on, or these events will call on these skills to know how much damage, how much healing, different things like that. And then everything else in terms of what it does, where it goes, how big is this supposed to be, and everything like that happens here. It's just calling these to know what it's supposed to do, or how much damage is supposed to do and everything like that. So link it back to 103. Everything else seems to be in order. Let's change this to, let's see, do we have a planet? Oh, dang, I forgot to change it over so that way you guys could see. There we go. Alright, so like I was saying earlier, I'm an idiot because I forgot to change it over. This is like where this like skill thing, this is basically where like all the damage gets calculated. This is where all the damage and everything like that gets calculated. So right here, I deleted everything that was before there, and I put in the tool ID 103, which basically links it back to 103, right, go down, right here, which is the event right here, which is what I'm going to be using for the plant. Simple. It sounds confusing, but it's pretty simple. So just like that, you click OK, the save plant attack, like right here. That's the attack that I'm going to be using for the plant. All I need to do is remember the name. This is the ID. This is what it is. This ID is 341. So then I go over here, back to the plant attack, which is right here. And I change the skill ID to 341. And that tells it, okay, when the player when the player makes a collision with it, this is how much damage it's supposed to get. It's going to link to that. Tool duration, that basically says how long it's going to stay out. Pose duration, we don't need that because we're not using a pose. Tool position, it needs to start. It's going to that basically says where it's going to start. It's going to be starting from the user. Whenever you're making an enemy attack, it's always going to start from the user. Tool range is 0. It's only gonna if I made it 1, it would make it damage me if I'm standing next to it, which is not what I want. I only want it to damage me if I'm actually hit by it. Tool area line, it doesn't matter what tool area you're using if you're using range 0, because it's always going to be right on it. And disable piercing, which basically just it just makes it to where if you are blocking piercing damage, it will still hit you. Or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it is. Alright, so everything should be in order. And the skill is 103, so remember that. We are going to go back up here, go to the plant. And we're going to go to custom. So basically on the plant, when you click on it, this is the event page. This is where all of the eventing for enemies happen. On this first event page, this is for what happens if the player gets surprised. So if an enemy approaches the player from behind while you're on the map and you go into the battle screen, you get surprised. When you get surprised, essentially, I took notes from a game that I'm playing right now, which is Type 0. I took notes from it in terms of whenever you get surprised in that game, you will immediately, no, when you go into battle, you will have some sort of status element. Like you'll be stopped, you'll be on kill site, or something of that nature if you get surprised when you go into one of the random battles. So for Playmasters, if you get surprised, essentially all the enemies already know of your presence. So all the enemies are already chasing you down from the get-go. As well as you're going to have one of these random, where is it? Why are these all the same? Oh, yeah. Is it in here? Did I put it in here? I think it might be in this one. In this map. There it is. So if you get surprised, it's either you'll get one of these random debuffs from the start of the game, from the start of the battle. Either you'll start off with a dizzy effect, so the screen will be distorted from the beginning of the battle for a short period of time. The entire party will be silenced from the beginning of the fight, so you can't use any you won't be able to use any skills. You'll start off with a reduction in health. You'll start off stopped, so you won't be able to move from the beginning of the battle, or you'll be weakened from the beginning of the battle, which basically being weakened means you take more, being weakened is like the worst thing that you can be, because if you're weakened, basically you take more damage and you can't run. You can weaken is kind of like a special thing. If you ever played 15, It's kind of like breaking in 15, but not to the same degree. Basically, both enemies and allies alike. When you're attacking something, and with the physical attacks, no magical attacks, but physical attacks specifically, you more or less actually probably just like basic physical attacks. I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to do it. You have a small chance of weakening an enemy or you getting weakened. And when you get weakened, it's basically you take more damage and it's kind of harder to get away. So if I'm playing as Xanark and an enemy ends up hitting me really hard and weakening me, I take double the damage. I'll be taking double the damage and I won't be able to run. Actually, I'm thinking actually no, it's going to be I don't think it's going to be to where you can't run. I think I'm going to make it to where if you're weakened, you're still able to run, but while you're weakened, running will cost your CT, are basically your active points. And the more CT that and once you run out of CT, you're not able to run. I think that's probably what I'll do, but we'll see. But basically, if you start off, if you get surprised, you get one of these. And of course, if you approach the enemy from behind, you'll get advantages. I haven't programmed in the advantages, but basically you'll start off with like you'll start off dealing double damage. You'll start off with like free cast to where well, maybe not free.Maybe you might one of the best ones you can start off with is free cast, where you're able to cast magic freely. You'll start off with 100 AP or max AP, so you can cast whatever spell. Well, I might not do free cast, and I might just start off with max AP from the start of the battle. Start off with regain or something like that. You know, different things like that. So let me get back to doing what I was supposed to be doing. I hope I did it already. No, I did not do it, and I talked so much that I might have forgot. No, it's 103. All right, so go ahead, change this to 103. So basically what happens is it spawns in. You go into the battle. The plant is going to wait 145 frames. Or basically a second and a half, essentially. No, 2 seconds and a half. Then it's going to use 102, where basically a vine's going to come up out of the ground where you're standing and it's going to hit you. And unless you're either shielding or you move out the way, you're going to get hit by it. Then after it does that, it's going to wait 60 frames. Then it's going to turn towards you. Turn towards player. And it's going to shoot out this. Shoot out what we just made. And it's going to do copy, place, change this to maybe about 100, maybe 100 frames. Every 100 frames it does that. So it does that 1, 2, 3 times, and then give it a wait time of about 145 seconds again. And then that would be it for its attack cycles. Turn it down to normal. Turn its frequency down to normal, so it doesn't go through the list too fast. I think that should be good. So what we're going to be doing now is we're basically going to copy this and paste it here. Delete all this, paste it right here. So essentially, the first page, when you spawn in, if you're surprised, it's going to then run this one. If this switch is not lit up and Battle 4 is started, which means basically, whenever you touch an enemy, it's told from the beginning to run either Battle 1 through 10. And depending on which battle is randomly selected, will spawn in a random selection of these enemies on the field. So, although you may see like 30 enemies on the screen right now, if you get like battle, let's see. If you get like battle 2, only 3 enemies will be on screen. Or if you get like battle 7, 5 enemies will be on screen. So, you know, it's not going to be that many enemies on screen. The most you'll get is if you get lucky and you get 4, and then you'll have 10 enemies to deal with before you win the battle. and you're able to flee the battle at any time by once again running against one of these, and you'll be able to flee the battle essentially. So it's good. It's still good. And like I said, with this one, just like the other one, you have more versatility in terms of getting around the terrain. You can climb around these vines to be able to get around. Then you can jump down from here. Well, you can't jump down from here, but you can climb. You can do these vines. Then you can change to Xanark and be able to dash down this cliff. Or if you don't want to, you could switch to Lucy and be able to jump across these cliffs on these little pedestals right here. Same thing with right here. You can switch to Lucy to be able to jump across over here. Or if you don't feel like doing that, you could take the longer route and just climb down the rope and get over here. So that's the thing. One thing I do like about the battle system is with the different battle maps, I'm able to customize like specific battle arenas to where you're able to use the terrain to your advantage. Like with some areas, I could make it a little bit more maze-like in terms of finding the enemies, or it can be a little bit more like there's certain areas to where if you go behind them, you're able to get cover from like enemies that probably would be like turrets and would just keep shooting you. And there'll be areas to where if you hide behind it, you can't get hit. While at the same time, while you're behind it, you won't be able to hit the enemy as well. And different things like that. So that's one thing that I really like about this. But right now, we are going to finalize doing the enemies. And that will probably be the last thing that I do for the stream, because I noticed we only got like 2 viewers. So I'm probably going to end it off fairly soon. So this is for Battle 4. So I need to remember this is for Battle 4. What does this go to? This goes to Battle 5. We'll do that later. This one goes to Battle 2. We'll do that later. This one goes to Battle 4. One of the ones that I just did. Alright. This goes to Battle 5. Nope. Battle 2. Nope. Battle 4. Alright, replace it. Battle 2. Nope. Battle 4. Replace it. And Battle 4. Replace it. Alright, now we're going to go and replace the other ones. So this one's for 2, so all we got to do now to change this over to Battle 2, we click on it, and we click on this one, which is Battle 2, which basically says, alright, now instead of Battle 4, you're going to do Battle 2. And just change it over. Just like that. Now we're going to copy that, and then we're going to go and check and see which other ones require, are spawn in on 2. So this one, as it says, it spawns in on 2. So we're going to delete that, paste it. So now it has the updated version of the script, which will spawn it in on 2. And we just go and do that for the rest. 2, replace it. 5, 4. Alright, so the last one is 5, so we delete this, paste it. And we're going to change this to 5. 5 and 5. There we go. Oh, wait. Ooh. I made a goof, guys. I made a goof. All right, so, yeah, I made a big goof. Ooh, okay. Well, it's not a big goof, but I made a goof. You see this right here? This enemy ID? This enemy ID basically says what stats the enemy has. Right now, it's linked to 5, but the thing about 5 is, 5 is for the sprites. And, the flower is... Which one is that? Flower is 38. This is the stats for 48, which I actually need to change that. This needs to change to 25. This needs to change to 35. And yeah, that's about it for the changes, I think. All of this can get destroyed. Well, all of this can get destroyed. Oh, wait, now that I think about it, I can bring back the difficulty scaler now. Because now since I got rid of the turn-based battles, which was making the difficulty scaling difficult, which is why I had to get rid of the difficulty scaler, I think I can go back to using the difficulty scaler, rather than saying, do you want to play on normal or hard mode? So, do so with the difficulty scale. I can make it to where if you put the difficulty scaler up, enemies will be more tough, but at the same time, you'll get more money and you'll get more items from them. Whereas if you put it lower, they'll be much easier to defeat, but you won't get as much money or items from them. I think I might be able to bring that out now. Bring that back now. Oh wait, I just remembered. It's going to be more difficult for me to do. It's going to be more difficult for me to use Xanark's learn ability. I might have to even retcon Xanark's learning ability from the game itself, from the story itself, because there's no way I could do Xanark's learning ability. I mean, maybe I could do Xanark's learning ability in a different sense. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to do it in a different sense to where normally with enemies with the blue mages, because Xanark is a blue mage, and if you don't know what a blue mage is, essentially a blue mage is a mage that they're able to learn the attacks that enemies use. Most blue mages have it to where when they see an enemy use a skill, or if they get hit by that skill, they learn how to use it. What I think I'm gonna make it to be is to where, for Xanark, when he defeats an enemy that has a skill that he can learn it. He learns it from normal enemies, and then through seeing, he's able to learn other things. It's not even just like it's a battle mechanic, it's also a story thing. Like throughout the story of Playmasters, Xanark uses his learner's ability, or his blue magic ability, to be able to learn skills that gets them through tough situations. Such, for example, a story that I was writing for the game a while ago, they come into contact with this guy who has the ability to manipulate his spiritual energy, or his aura, which, by the way, is the way that everyone's able to use magical abilities and stuff like that in this game, in order to curse people. And what Xanark does is he uses his ability to learn to be able to instantaneously, or not instantly, but it took him a while, but he used it to be able to learn how he was cursing people, so in that way he could use that knowledge to be able to reverse the curse. So not only does this is much later in the game, mind you. This is like in the beginning of the game, when he uses learn, he only learns how to use the move, whereas later he upgrades that ability to where he can learn other stuff about the ability, to where he knows how it's done, how to reverse the effects of it, and everything like that, just by perfecting his learner's magic ability. So it's more of a story-based thing, to where, it's not something I can cut out, so I'm gonna have to really think about it. I do think it's probably gonna be, ooh, I got an idea. And it will be kind of interesting, actually. I can make it to where there can be a record book, to where to say when you enter an area and you defeat an enemy for the first time, it will go into a record book of that enemy and the skill that you can learn, and it will say if you defeat, let's say, 25 flowers, Xanark will learn the ability, let's just say, for some stupid reason, haste. So, and this will be assuming that the plant can use haste in the first place. So that means if you defeat 25 plants, you learn haste. And I think that might be, because I want to do something for the learner's magic for Xanark. And that's probably what's going to be, is defeating enemies. Because there's no way I'll be able to set it up to where if Xanark gets hit by an ability, that he would learn it. Because that would be way too much. I would have to program, first I would have to program the move itself. Then I would have to program for if Xanark got hit by it, for him to learn it. And there's not really a way for me to program if he gets hit by a specific move. So it's probably going to have to be either defeating it outright or defeating a certain number of it. And I would rather it be defeating a certain number of it, because the thing that I had for... I'm going to probably ask this when I finally have a stream with more viewers, because there's not really that many viewers here. But, essentially, in the how it was before, whenever you would use your blue magic to be able to learn an ability, he would forget it after the battle. So, like, say if you learn like water from a sprite, then after the battle, Xanark would forget it, and you would have to learn it again. What I think I might do here is I'll ask when I get more viewers, so then that way I can get a better consensus on what I should do. I'll either make it to where if you defeat a certain enemy, it will activate a switch. If you defeat enemies that allow you to learn an ability, it will activate a switch, which will basically display a prompt on screen that will say Xanark has learned this ability for the battle, and so you'll be able to use that enemy's ability for the rest of the battle, and then afterwards you'll just forget it. Or I can make it to where, like I talked about before, the more enemies you defeat, once you defeat enough enemies, you permanently learn it. Or I can just make it to where once you defeat the enemy once, you permanently learn it. But there's a lot of skills that you can learn. Like, a lot of skills you can learn. And I think that it would probably be better if it was for defeating multiple enemies. Because, like, originally, every enemy had a skill that you can learn. And I want to keep that going. So I think that I'm going to still make it to where every enemy has a skill that you can learn. But, I mean, and even with that, that still makes it to where you can learn a lot of abilities with Xanark. Because you have his skill tree, which he has one of the more extensive skill trees than anybody else. And then on top of that, I mean, like, just come over here. Come over here and look at his skills, or his class. Like, Xanark has the most classes out of all of them. And then he has all of the... Well, most of these are going to get deleted because of the new battle system. But then he can learn all of these as well. Now, at the same time, it's not going to be to where it's OP or anything. It's just his character. Because Xanark is more of the all-rounder character. To where he has a lot of skills that he can possibly learn. But you would need to go out of your... The thing about Playmasters is I'm making it into a game that you don't need to grind to be able to beat the game. I want it to be a game to where you don't need to grind. I want it to be to where if you want to fight all the like extra stuff and everything like that, then you can grind. Or if you just want to feel OP, you can grind. But I'm taking after this game series called Grandia, Grandia 1 and 2, to where you didn't have to grind. If you just went straight through the story, you'd be just fine. And that's what I'm making it to here. And with this, I'm making Xanark to be, if you don't grind, you basically make him out to be whatever you want him to be. So if you want him to focus more on dealing damage and doing physical attacks, then you would probably level up his warrior class. If you would want him to do more magic-based attacks, you would probably level up his sorcerer class. If you want him to do more be more of an elemental fighter, physical fighter, you probably level up his light and dark and his sorcery. So then that way you get access to his magical slashes. So that way you can use fire slash to deal physical damage, to do a physical attack, but deal elemental damage along with it. If you want to learn more aura-based attacks, so that way you can deal more powerful attacks at the cost of losing HP, then you can level up his ancient class. So that way you can make him more of a cannon or whatever you want to call it. You can make him out to be whatever you want him to be, or you can just pour skills into everything so that way he can cover everything. So that way you can be like, oh, I need him to use this, that, or whatever. But still, without grinding, you know, if you just go through the main story, you would probably only be leveling up one of these trees or leveling up Xanark in whatever your playstyle would be. Everybody else, you're pretty much going to be leveling them up in terms of what they're good at. So Zane, he's the knight. You're going to be leveling up his, his defense, his knight, but then you're also going to be leveling up his green magic, so that way he can, he can debuff the enemies. Lucy, she's the black mage, but you're also going to be leveling up her black mage and her gun mage and cheer ability, so in that way she can, she has the gun abilities, and then she also has cheerleader, which will be, her cheering on the team. So if you use healthy dance and she get on the battlefield and she dances on the dances, or if Lucy was Dee Dee, she would be doing the dance of death or whatever. But yeah, I think that's about it though. I think that's all I'm going to talk about for right now. Yeah. Like I said, we don't really have that many people right now, so I think I'm gonna end the stream for right now. So I guess I'll do another update stream sometime next week, and I'll just let you guys see what the finished version of this battle system would be, because it should be done by then, and I'll try to promote that stream more so we can get more people in here, because there's not really anybody here. Shout out to Lady Vamp. But yeah, I think I'm gonna end the stream off here. Thanks for coming, and next time we'll see more. Some things to look out for next time would be, I'm gonna definitely have everything fixed. There's gonna be, different battle music for if you get surprised, for if you get the preemptive strike, and then the normal battle music like you heard earlier. Everything's gonna be all fixed and everything. I should have all of these done and fully functional. I'm also going to be making a copy of them, so for if you get attacked by humans, because humans can attack you. And by the way, interesting thing about humans in this game, if you take out a human, you're able to choose between either looting the body or getting help, or calling help to send them back to town. So you can make the choice between either being a good person and calling for help, being a bad person, looting them, or you can be that guy and then loot them and then send them back, because that's an option. In which, if you do that a few times, you will get a specific cutscene for if you keep looting people and then sending them back. But let me end things off right now. Thanks for coming, and I need to drink some water because my mouth is dry after all this talking. Big thing to know, before I forget, there's going to be 2 Jackbox streams tomorrow. One at 2 and one at 10, because I can do that now. So look out for that now. 2 and 10. 2 Jackbox streams tomorrow. Count them, 2. So if you can be here for both, Jackbox at 2 p.m. and Jackbox at 10 p.m. So be here for them. Bye-bye.